Now, some high courts in Gauteng are back to conducting the business virtually because of the persistent blackouts. As things stand, the high courts haven't been installed with alternative power sources. Let's now bring in the Judge President of the Gauteng Division of the High Court, Dunstan Mlambo. Judge President, thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon. How extensive has the impact of load shedding been on the court processes? What's been the inconvenience leading to this decision to go online?
Thank you very much for having me on your show, Mr. Mnyatela. I think the impact of load shedding has been felt much more by the Johannesburg High Court because the Pretoria High Court is in an area which does not experience load shedding. It does have a standby generator, even though it does not experience load shedding. But coming back to Johannesburg, we have two standby generators, generator A and generator B. These are generators that are geared to operate for 2 hours and not longer. And the impact of the load shedding has been, the longer the load shedding period means we've got to run the generators for longer than the period they were geared to. And that leads to the first generator malfunctioning, that's generator A. It usually malfunctions by overheating. And then generator B is supposed to take over and run, but that's the faulty generator, and the Department of Public Works is very well aware of this. So the decision to go back to online hearings is informed by the fact that the term is starting on Monday, and all parties are geared to their matters starting and being heard, and judges are also ready to hear those matters. But load shedding will be disruptive. And it's a preemptive strike on our part to issue a directive that says, let's go on this safer mode of hearing our matters until the old power source is sorted out. So that's a brief outline of the impact of the load shedding, because it's longer than 2 hours.
Yeah. Why aren't there contingency measures in place, especially, as you say, the Public Works Department knows about the faulty generator? Haven't they made the necessary arrangements to bring about an effective generator, understanding the kind of impact the court processes will have to deal with when there's no power or there's no backup generator?
Well, the Department of Public Works is the one that always engages service providers to come to respond whenever we log a call about problems with our generators. So they are well aware of the problem. It has nothing to do with the supply of diesel. We have our own arrangement that ensures that there's always a readily available supply of diesel whenever diesel runs short. So the issue is, as I explained earlier, generator A works well, but then it works for about 2 hours. If we use it for longer than 2 hours, it overheats, and that's when generator B has to take over. But generator B will kick in but not power the building, and that affects the operations of the court. It affects everyone, judges, staff, and even legal practitioners are in the courtroom. So we decided that let's go back to online hearings. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
And I mean, now we are dealing with, higher levels of load shedding. So you're looking at even longer time of many areas being without power. Have you engaged with the Office of the Chief Justice and maybe even the Public Works Department? Have they made any commitment so far to make the necessary arrangements? All right, we seem to have lost the Judge President, Dunstan Mlambo, there. I think that connection froze. Probably has something to do with what we are discussing, which is the impact of load shedding. So we'll see if we can try and re-establish that line and continue that conversation. In the meantime, let's look at this. Hundreds of pupils in Gauteng are still scrambling for placements, despite schools in inland provinces opening on Wednesday. Some parents have expressed frustration at the online registration system for grade 1 and 8 pupils. Both Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane and Basic Education Minister Njumu Tsekga have assured parents that the issue of placements will be addressed within 10 days. All right, so I'm told we've got Judge President Dunstan Mlambo back. The connection much clearer to us now. Judge President, before we had that interruption in our connection, I was asking if there's been a commitment made by the Public Works Department. Are they aware, and I know you've logged calls before, have you tried to engage with them or the Office of the Chief Justice again, and have they made any commitment to make the necessary arrangement?
Yes, court officials as well as the Office of the Chief Justice officials at high level have been in contact with the Department of Public Works to remedy the situation because they are well aware. Their service providers report to them about the faulty generator. What we've told them is that we need a generator that's geared towards running longer than 2 hours. That will sufficiently cover whatever load shedding period we have. It's difficult to get a commitment from Department of Public Works. All their responses have been to try and blame other issues like the supply of diesel. But we've told them that the issue is the generator, and that's what they must address. So we've not, to answer your question directly, we've not had any direct commitment to say that generator or those 2 generators will be replaced by a much more reliable one.
Yeah. Let's look at this arrangement now, going online. Are all matters now going to be heard online, or will this be adapted where appropriate, so discretion will be exercised? How is it going to work?
Well, the default position will be online for all matters save for criminal trials. Now, let me just deal with criminal trials first. Criminal trials will still be physical, but they will be guided by the load shedding schedules. And the senior judge in that area has actually reached out to other judges sitting in the criminal trials that they should check what the load shedding schedule is and probably start earlier than 10 o'clock to make sure that they maximize on the time when there's power. That's going to be the situation with criminal trials, and it's difficult to run criminal trials online because of all the complications that can come out of that. But with civil trials, we've also left it to the discretion of judges, despite us saying the default position is everything online. Judges will still be able to make a judgment call to say if they will be able to finish their roles within the load shedding schedule, they can issue directives to parties to say the hearings will be physical. But other than that, almost all the other matters, especially those matters that are dealt with on paper, like appeals and applications, will be dealt with online.
Yeah, and I imagine that this is an arrangement that's going to continue until there's, of course, a solution to the challenges you've outlined.
Yeah, until there's a reliable source of alternative power that will ensure that there's not going to be any disruption to our court processes, we're going to run this way, yes.
Yeah, and just lastly, Judge President, from your experience during COVID-19, when matters were heard online, did that work? I know you said it gets complicated with criminal matters. Does it get complicated and it's hard, or did it work? Or are we talking here about possible inconveniences and some compromises we saw during the COVID-19?
No. It works beautifully. We in this division were the first to go this route of dealing with our work. And I want to believe we've perfected how to do cases online, virtually, and using the case lines and court online platforms. So it works beautifully. And in fact, I know that a lot of senior counsel who appear in Gauteng love the system because it has ensured there are cost savings on their clients instead of them flying all the way here for physical hearings. They do that. In fact, I know of a number of instances where Gauteng-based senior counsel who have matters in other divisions have gone on record to requesting the judges in the other divisions where they'll be appearing to have online hearings. And this has been met with a lot of success. So I'm saying the legal profession, especially in Gauteng, is well aware of how to run matters online. The only inconvenience will be this is short notice, but we had to issue the directive yesterday because we realized that we're not getting any commitment from the Department of Public Works. But I think as the time goes by, I don't foresee any convenience whatsoever from anybody who will be requested to run their matters online. We have an alternative online system that we provide to unrepresented litigants in the courts, where there are spare kiosks where they come and they are assisted by court officials to make sure that they take part in their hearings. And sometimes we've used this facility for some legal professionals who have said they do not have data or do not have probably functional laptops. So I want to believe that there will be no inconvenience to anyone.
All right. Dunstan Mlambo, let's hope the Public Works Department will be addressing those issues as soon as possible. That's the Judge President of the Gauteng Division of the High Court. I really appreciate your time this afternoon.